War. A state of open and declared hostile
conflict between rivals. Sam's fragile at this weight and I'll bully him.
Bully me, no chance.
I'm fresher, fitter and more determined.
I've got the belt, I've got the world ranking, I want more.
I'll be waiting, I'll see you August the 1st. No backward step. 2019 was a great life experience for me. I learnt a lot, as much as I never got the decisions I felt I should have.
Cheeseman has gone out of the ring in disgust, he can't believe it.
And I took a big defeat. I learnt a lot in that year. It helps you grow up, mature, turn into a man. You're always as good as your last performance. It don't matter, you can win 100. If you lose that last one, that's all you're as good as. From 12 years old, I started boxing, and ever since I started boxing, my goal was to become a world champion and go as far as I can in the sport. When you turn pro, you start off, you ain't got loads of money. You go from wanting to be a world champion to just the goal of getting rich as quick as possible. And now I've realised I don't really care about the money attribute side of it. I care about fulfilling my potential.
Oh, big left hand and the eye almost went. And the tail's going in as well, it is over.
My career on a whole shows you that, losing's not great, but it's not the end of the world. I've lost fights what maybe I shouldn't have lost, and I've come back better. I think if you don't take the opportunities while they're there, then you'll never know. The Liam Smith fight, a lot of things were about to fall correct for me that night to win. I lost, but without that, I don't think the Italians would have given me a ring anyway. As soon as that fight was announced, I just had like a chip on my shoulder. I thought, I'm really going to go over there and do a job.
Sam, the Savage Eggington, is there another chapter to this very engaging fella's career? And the combinations is going to be all over in the second round.
Fantastic stuff.
He was ruthless.
No one can ever question my drive, because it's been there from the start. It's always to earn as much money and make my family as comfortable as possible, and that'll never change.
The featured bout of the evening, the Savage, the Big Cheese.
Whoever wins pushes on into a good direction, and I just think I'm all round better.
He's talking like he's too big and too strong. He's got the big stoppage coming. If he tries that, I think it'll be meat and drink. I'm all over that.
I'm a younger, fresher and more talented fighter, and I'm so determined to win this fight on the 1st of August.
It is a must-win for Ted without a doubt. The pressure is on.
G5Jefftv, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. We got our favorite VP in the building, our only VP of G5Jefftv, VP Shane. What's going on, bro?
Everything's all good.
Now, we've been watching ESPN Top Rank for the past month and some change, and it's been some good action fights, but Top Rank has been the only promoter putting on cards on a consistent basis since the pandemic. Now, our good buddy Eddie Hearn is going to be trying his hand at promoting a couple of fights. Basically, in the backyard of of the Hearn old Hearn household.
Kimbo Slice style.
Yes, indeed. So he's gonna be running shows all through August. August 1st, August 7th, 14th, 21st,
and 22nd.
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 And then I think the next one's with the 29th.
Is there one on the 29th? No, I think the last one's Dylan White, and I think that's the 22nd.
22nd? Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think it's only 4 shows.
Okay. So Eddie Hearn has a total of 4 shows. What we're going to do today is we're going to have VP Shane basically educate everybody in terms of the fighters that's going to be on the first card that's going to be on August the 1st. And
that's my birthday. That's my birthday.
That's
I turned
VP
22.
Shane's birthday. So hopefully people will give you a shout out on Instagram and all that other good stuff. Hopefully
You
next
go
year, say it
live
again.
for it as well. You can go live for it as well.
Yeah, we can go live for that. Hopefully if things change, hopefully next year we can meet up, get some women around, all that other good stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So we got Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Fight Camp, August 1st. It's gonna be headlining Sam Eggington versus Ted Cheeseman. We also have Jordan Gill versus Rhys Belotti. James Tennyson versus Gavin Gwynn. Fabio Wardley versus Simon Valili. And we have Dalton Smith versus Nathan Bennett. Those are the 5 fights that's going to be on the card. Now, I know a lot of people are like, who the hell are those people? You know what I'm saying? This is an all UK card, basically. For my hardcores in the States, if you a hardcore, you know all 10 of these people. If you a semi,
I mean, you won't. I don't think you know 10 because you know 8 of those people.
I know 8.
The first two. They're probably 2 fights I've seen the least amount. The rest of them I've seen enough of.
I knew 8 out of the 10. I knew 8 out of the 10, and I'm about as hardcore as it can get. So you might be one of the few that knows all 10 pretty well. So we thought there's 8 out of 10 pretty well, and the other 2 we gonna freestyle it. But
now, I mean, I know that I've seen them fight.
Right.
And I've seen them fight live. So
right, and that's the thing. Like that's what we do on the channel. We don't act like we know it all, you know. So we have to educate, you know, the people out there. The two biggest names is probably Sam Eggington and James Tennyson in terms of U.S. We know Tennyson from the Tevin Farmer fight, and we know Sam Eggington. He fought Paulie, right? He beat Paulie Malignaggi.
And he fought. He's most known in Britain for. He's fought so many domestic level fighters, like from Liam Smith. He's literally fought the world. He's literally fought everybody.
Yeah.
In Britain, he's someone who Eddie Hearn likes to recycle.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mention each fight that's gonna be on the card, and we're gonna have the VP Vibration Shane break down the fighters, break down the actual fight. So Shane, we're gonna start off with Dalton Smith versus Nathan Bennett. That's a lightweight fight. That's a lightweight fight. I think it's is that a 4-round?
No, I think it's 6.
It's a 6-round. It's a 6-round fight. Dalton Smith is 5-0, and Nathan Bennett is 9-1.
9-1. Yeah, 9-1.
9-1.
So I mean, with that fight, this probably be the least fight I would know about. Saying that, I've actually seen Bennett fight before live. I've actually seen him fight live, but he was on an undercard. But when it comes to that fight, I mean, Eddie Hearn's been trying to make the fights as 50-50 as possible. So when I look at it, on the surface it looks 50-50, but for betting purposes, I mean, Bennett will be going in as the underdog. I think he lost his last fight, if I'm correct. I don't know. Maybe it's last fight or the fight before that, but he's either lost his fight or the fight before that. So
yeah,
he'll be going into that fight. It was 2 fights ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks for correcting me. It was 2 fights ago. So in that fight, I mean, he'll be going in, he'll be trying to prove a point. And obviously he's fighting a prospect who has a fantastic amateur career. I mean, he was in the World Series of Boxing. I don't think he made the Olympics. I don't think he made the Olympics. But he definitely was in the World Series of Boxing, and he actually done well in the World Series of Boxing. For those who don't know what the World Series of Boxing is, it's when amateurs, before they go into the pros, they have like this semi-professional tournament. Usyk was in it, Lomachenko was in it, fighters of that caliber. So you know if he's in it, you got to be of a certain caliber, and he was in it, and he's a very good amateur. And Eddie Hearn's been trying to move him along fast. So Bennett will be in a tough fight. He probably obviously will go the distance, and I think Bennett will lose that. I think Bennett will lose it in a comfortable points decision.
And the thing is, with Dalton Smith, this would be his first legit test.
Yeah, his first step up. It will be Smith wouldn't have had a fight like this in his career. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's ever gone the distance. Maybe he has. I don't think he's gone the distance. I think he's been stopping a lot of guys.
I think he had a we talking about Dalton Smith, right?
Yeah, Dalton Smith. I don't think he's gone the distance. Maybe
I think his first fight, I think he went the distance. Outside of that, all of them been TKOs.
Because I know since he's been with Hearn, or maybe he has, since the fights that I've seen, and I'm not going to act like I'm the biggest fan of his, but the fights that I've seen on Hearn undercards, I remember him stopping them, and he's been in pretty easy fights, you know. But Eddie Hearn's taking a step up, you know. He's a young kid. He wants to give him a go, so...
That's the one thing about Eddie Hearn. He's not afraid to throw his guys in there. I think he wants to find out about his fighters before he puts some real money into them, which I commend Eddie Hearn for that. I mean, literally, Dalton Smith fought somebody that had 6 wins and 165 losses.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That was his second fight. 6 wins and 165 losses. So to say that this is a step up.
That's the definition of a journeyman, boy.
Listen, his first fight he fought somebody 5-27. His second fight he fought somebody that was 6 and 165 with 4 draws. Third fight he fought somebody 0-1. Fourth fight he fought somebody 13 wins, 54 losses, 6 draws. And his previous fight was 10-3. That might have been the fight you've seen.
I mean, I've seen 3 fights of his. So, I mean, in terms of how the fight will play out, Smith will come out and he'll be trying to show off his skills because he's definitely the more superior, skillful fighter. But Bennett's not going to let nobody walk over him. So it'll be a tough fight. But after a while, the skills will just come through, and Bennett will probably be in a bit over his head. But it'll be a tough fight, you know. You get tested, whether he has a good chin and stuff like that, but it probably won't be like anything shocking.
Okay. Now we got a heavyweight scrap. You know we love our heavyweights. Fabio Wardley against Simon Vallily. Fabio Wardley is 8-0, and Simon Vallily is 17-2. With 1 draw. So Shane, take it away.
So for those who don't know, you know, when we talk about heavyweights, one of the most spoken about heavyweights is Dillian Whyte. For those who don't know, Fabio Wardley is actually managed by Dillian Whyte. So this is actually one of Dillian Whyte's guys. You know personally that Dillian Whyte has a lot of guys under his wrap. So this is one of his guys. You know, so
hold on. So is Dillian Whyte, for the people that don't know, is Dillian Whyte a manager or a promoter?
Dillian Whyte manages I think 6 or 7 fighters. And this is one of his guys on the come up. You know, he's 8-0. He actually knocked out somebody who went the distance with Tom Schwartz. For whatever that means, you know, Tom Schwartz isn't a big name, but he's someone who's but he's knocked out someone who went the distance with Tom Schwartz, so he does have good power. He's not the heaviest heavyweight, but he is quite tall. But one thing about him is he fights with his hands down. You know, he likes to show. He's not like his manager. You know, he doesn't like to catch punches. He likes to use a lot of head movement. So, and the other guy, Simon Vallily, for those who don't know, he actually fought at cruiserweight. And he fought Maris Breedis at cruiserweight as well. Correct. And then he got stopped by Breedis at cruiserweight. So him moving up to heavyweight, you know, obviously you would give the advantage to Woodley, but this is Woodley's first step up, you know, against a guy who's coming to win, and it's a good test for him. I mean, Villali will come for the win, but the problem is he's gonna push Woodley, but Woodley's very. If Woodley was green, then he could probably cause an upset. But Woodley's sparring some real warriors in the gym, so he's used to being pushed around by people. You know, he's used to being in the trenches. And when Woodley starts throwing his attacks, I don't think Villali can take it. But I feel like Woodley can take Villali's attacks. If you can take Dylan White's attacks, you can take anybody. So
Villali, he fought Bradis a couple years ago. I think it was like 2016. But I know Bradis was, you know, undefeated. You know.
Bradis is and for those who don't know, but you should know, he's one of the best, not if the best cruiserweight on the planet. Yeah, so
absolutely
losing to Bradis ain't there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah.
Manuel Chark got knocked out by Bradis, so Villali losing to Bradis, nothing. But I definitely will favour Woodley in that fight, but Villali will have a good chance because Woodley's still quite young, and he's still in the growing stages. He can make mistakes. Prospects tend to make mistakes, but I do think Woodley will win.
Okay. Now
by knockout as well. I think Woodley will win by knockout.
Okay. Now we got lightweight fight. James Tennyson, Gavin Gwynn. James Tennyson 26-3. Gavin Gwynn is 12-1. We know James Tennyson from the Tevin Farmer fight. He actually got stopped with a body shot in that fight. But this is probably the most interesting fight for me on this card, just because you don't know what James Tennyson is going to show up, and that's what makes it so interesting. Like Gavin Gwynn is, you know, with the record and everything, you can tell they're trying to get him, move him up.
Gavin Gwynn is what you see is what you get kind of thing. Like,
right.
He's gonna come forward. He's gonna try get us. He's gonna try put it on Tennyson, and Tennyson this will probably be the fight of the night because, as you know, anybody who gets knocked out by a Tevin Farmer, they have to question their punch resistance. You know, and Gavin Gwynn's gonna come for it. So it is gonna be a real good fight. For the neutrals.
Who would you favor in a fight? Who you like in a fight?
I mean, this is one where
I like Gwynn, man.
But my betting hat will be Gwynn. But I do think Tennyson has he's a good technical fighter, but I just don't rate. I just think his punch resistance is questionable. I think he's had 3 fights and 3 in by knockout.
Yeah, and to cap that off, even with the Tevin Farmer fight, he was hurt several times to the body in that fight outside of the knockout. So I have to agree with you 100%. I think Gwynn gets Tennyson up out of there. I'm with you.
And he's a good fighter. He's gonna come for it. So
yeah, Tennyson's a good fighter. Like, he's a good fighter. It's just when your punch resistance is low, it's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do. But
and dude's seen it as well. People have seen it. It's not like it's like Amir Khan. People know we have a chin, so he doesn't have a chin, so they're gonna attack it. When people don't really know, then they don't really know whether to go for it or not. You know what? People seen it. He's been exposed.
Right. Featherweight, Jordan Gill, Rhys Belotti. Jordan Gill's 24-1. Rhys Belotti's 14-3. What you think about this one?
For those who don't know who Jordan Gill is, I'll give you a quick backstory. Jordan Gill was supposed to be one of Eddie Hearn's prospects. You know, he's really trying to fast forward him. You know, he actually put him in a ring with a guy who Devin Haney fought, and Devin Haney beat him. And then he tried to I'll tell you, in my personal opinion, he signed Devin Haney off the back of the fact that this dude beat Gill, because this dude beat Gill, but he ended up fighting Devin Haney. He fought Devin Haney before, and Devin Haney beat him. Gill was supposed to be someone who was trying to fast forward. Gill came from the same camp as Tony Bellew as well. He had the same trainer, David Caldwell. So he was someone they were trying to fast forward. And from what I know, you know, they've just been trying to slowly build him. And then obviously him taking that loss wasn't in the plan. But he's going to try to bounce back. I think he's had a win since then as well. So as much as I do think that loss would have hurt him, I don't think it's going to hurt him as much as... I still think he's going to win because he's technically the better fighter and he's a real good fighter. I just don't think he's as good as Eddie Hearn thought he was before.
Right. What do you think of Rhys Belotti?
I mean, Rhys Belotti is another what you say. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Rhys Belotti coming off a loss? I don't know, but I think the last time I seen Rhys Belotti
is coming off of a loss. He's actually lost 3 out of his last 5.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not. He's in negative. He's in a negative.
Now they have been
form right now.
2 of them were split decision losses. The other one was a TKO loss.
I mean, the thing with Belotti, and where I give him a chance against Gill is Gill has no power. I think Gill's got like a handful of knockouts in his career. Like Gill has literally no power. So if I was Belotti, you know, I'd be literally coming into that fight trying to literally, you have nothing to. I'll just go for it because you don't have much to worry about.
Yeah, he's 24-1 with 7 knockouts.
Yeah, I knew he didn't have that much knockouts. I mean, that's not an impressive knockout record.
Yeah, and he's only fought maybe about a handful of guys. Maybe about 6 or 7 guys that had winning records. And all the rest of them the records has been pretty bad.
I mean, I saw the guy when he fought. The guy. I don't even. Forgive me, but I don't know the guy who he fought that beat him. But I know he fought Devin Haney, and when Gill fought him, the guy just didn't respect Gill's power. You know, he just literally just came forward and just did not respect Gill's power. And I feel like Belotti, he just needs to come in with the same mentality because Belotti's not chinny. I mean, he's lost. He's been stopped, but he's not chinny. You know, I feel like if he can stick it on him, you never know. He can grind out a points decision, or he can push Gill.
You know, the thing is crazy. I like Belotti in this fight. I just think he's gonna get robbed.
You think so?
I think he's gonna get robbed, yo. I think he's gonna win. I think he's literally gonna win this fight, but I think they're gonna rob him on the cards.
I mean, it's not off the radar because I don't see this fight being like Gill's not a person who's gonna quit. He's gonna come for it, and Gill ain't knocking him out. So that only spells fireworks. And to be honest, I don't know, man. It's a good fight. It's one that I want to see. If I'm putting smart money, I'll put smart money on Gill. But I wouldn't mind if the odds were good. I wouldn't mind putting money on.
You gonna have to let me know what them odds are, man. I might have to send you some money. I might have to send you some money, man, and get in on that. I just think Gill just like he doesn't have a lot of power. Then on top of that, he hasn't been in with nobody of real substance. You know what I'm saying? That's my problem. That's my problem with him. And like on top of that, not having power. Like I can see if you're battle tested and you don't have power, but I'm like, you're not really battle tested and you don't have power. So it's just.
Well, he battle tested and he lost.
Say it again.
He's battle tested and he lost. He lost.
Absolutely.
His only battle he had, he lost.
Absolutely, and that says a lot. You know what I'm saying? So when a person has a step up fight, like this one, and I think this is a step up fight for Jordan
Yeah,
Gill
definitely.
for sure.
Definitely.
I mean, Jordan Gill has fought guys, I mean, with some of the worst records in history, and I don't down a person for their record. One of my favorite fighters of all time is Emmanuel Burton, and he had a bad record, but he's still on record with giving Floyd Mayweather his toughest fight of his career. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I remember telling
yeah, like Jordan
that's
Gill
what.
fought somebody that was 6 and 125, 8 and 100. Like, this is what we talking about.
Yeah,
Like, and he won a
I
lot of
see.
these fights on points.
No, bro, it's a fact. This guy has no knockout ability. Like, I want to know how he knocked out some of the guys he's knocked out because,
I
like, he's from a camp that's known for having explosive power. Like, if you know anybody that's been trained by David Caldwell, Tony Bellew, everybody knows he's had power, and Anthony Fowler, another guy who has power. They ain't known for being the most technical fighters, even though Tony Bellew got better as he went along. But they're normally known for having power. This guy has, like, I know it's featherweight, but he doesn't have no pop whatsoever.
Bro,
Like, none.
listen, let me run this down for you real quick. This from the beginning of his career. He fought somebody 6 and 125, one on points. Next guy was 1 and 14, one on points. Next guy was 2 and 51, one on points. The next guy was 8 and 100, one on points. The next guy was 2 and 55, one on points. And the next guy was 7 and 151, one on points. And the next guy was 2 wins, 41 losses, one on points.
Yeah, that's not a good look, man. It's not a good look.
That's his first 7 fights. So he went 7-0 with no knockouts, and
they're supposed to be your easiest fights. They're supposed to be when you're building up a resume, you know.
yep.
You look at some of the fighters at featherweight, you know, being at featherweight doesn't necessarily mean you have to have ridiculous knockout power, because Tevin Farmer doesn't have knockout power, but
His boxing
it's just
skills
not
is elite, though.
Yeah, I know, definitely.
I just Jordan. That's one of those situations. He gonna have to show me. Yeah, I'm not gonna believe it until he show me. Like, he's gonna have to show me.
Yeah.
I like Rhys Belotti in that fight. I just hope they don't rob him on the cards. I think he gonna go through one round and he gonna see he don't have no power, and he just gonna try to walk him down the whole night.
That I can see. I definitely see that happening.
Yeah. And then we got the main event: Sam Eggington, Ted Cheeseman. I love this matchup. I absolutely love this matchup. I don't think it's gonna be the fight of the night, but I love this matchup. What you think?
I mean, don't ever let resumes fool you.
Fact.
If there's any fight ever tell you don't let there's any fighter on the planet that I'll tell you don't let resumes fool you, is Ted Cheeseman. I'm telling you this right now. Ted Cheeseman was at one stage, and I've seen Ted Cheeseman fight live. Ted Cheeseman was one of Britain's biggest prospects, and he lost in a step up. Eddie, as you say, Eddie Hearn loves to step up his fighters. He lost him to a fighter called Sergio Garcia. I don't know if you know Sergio Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio Garcia is one of the most avoided 154 fighters in the division. Like, this guy's got a record of 31-0 or 35-0 or something ridiculous like that. And he's fought. And Ted Cheeseman fought him in his 13th fight. To go and fight someone who's 31-0 and go the distance with them, you gotta give him credit for that. You know, he lost, and then in his other fight, that's the fight I saw live.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I felt he got robbed in that fight, but I can see why they said it was a draw. And the one after that, when he fought Scott Fitzgerald, it was a clear robbery. Now, I'm gonna tell you this now. When Ted Cheeseman was on a rise, I was one of Ted Cheeseman's biggest critics, because he was a face fighter. He was a fighter who fought with his face, coming forward, no defense, no block. And I was like, yeah, you know me, I don't like guys with no defense.
Correct.
So I did not rate him. He fought a guy called Asinia Byfield. That was a big domestic fight out in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
And that fight was when I was like, yeah, this guy's made a believer out of him. because he absolutely destroyed Asinia Byfield. He destroyed, like, Asinia Byfield showed a good chin, but he absolutely destroyed him. If anybody wants to go and see Ted Cheeseman, I'll say go and watch that fight, because that was the best Ted Cheeseman I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But since then, he's on a regression where he's lost two and drawn one in his last 3 fights. But you can arguably say, not even in my opinion, he's won his last 2, and he beat Scott Fitzgerald, who they see is now as the best 154 British fighter.
Yeah.
He definitely beat Scott Fitzgerald, and in that fight, he actually showed adjustment. He didn't fight with his face. He started to box on a back foot, and he took the advice of the critics, and he boxed that fight, and he won, and he still got robbed. So when I'm saying that to say this, most people look at it and go, "Oh, Sam Eggington's fought Liam Smith, he's fought Paulie, he's fought all of these guys, and he's got he's doing well. He's won his last few fights, but Ted Cheeseman's gonna walk over him. Ted Cheeseman's gonna stop him. He was probably stop him in like the first 4 rounds, because Ted Cheeseman is that good. I'm telling you, don't let records fool you."
Right. And of course, Sam Eggington's been around the block for Liam Smith. What's he for? Bradley Skeet. A couple other guys. Paulie
Bradley Skeet's
Malignaggi.
been around the block.
Say it again.
Bradley Skeet's been around the block as well.
Yeah. Who you like in the fight?
Oh, Ted Cheeseman will stop him in like 6 rounds. 5 to 6 rounds.
Yeah, Ted Cheeseman. He's one of those guys you look at the record and it's just like, he all right. But when you step in the ring with him,
when you step in the ring, you go and watch it. When you go on, like, he's just very unlucky, because he asked for the step up against Sergio Garcia, and to me, that was bad by Eddie Hearn, because there's a reason why Sergio Garcia can't get big fights. You know, you got some real good fighters in 154. Nobody's fought him. He's been like ranked in the top 5 of your, and he in his 15th or 14th fight, he went and stepped up and fought someone at world level. That's what you should have never done.
It's some fights where it's too much risk and no reward. That's the epitome of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whoever his manager was at that time, you just gotta say no to that fight. Like you have to say no to that fight. Like, and I think we always talk about it. Matchmaking is 90% of the game when it comes down to a fighter and moving your fighter along. You don't put your guy up against a guy like that, and you can throw the pride out the window and all of that. We talking about styles. Styles make fights, and some guys just can make you look bad. And that's a situation, that's a fight that he shouldn't have taken, let alone lost. He shouldn't have had the loss on his record. That was a career mistake. You know, he probably could still be undefeated.
He would have been undefeated, because to me, he lost a lot of momentum after that, because he was going in, like, he was one of Eddie Hearn's top prospects. And that's probably why they took the fight. He probably got a bit too carried away. And then he beat Scott Fitzgerald. He literally, when he fought Scott Fitzgerald, he won. And that was another step up, and that's a loss on his record. So to me, he would have been undefeated. And they should have never taken that surgery. As soon as they took it, I said that was a mistake. I said it was a mistake.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a real good action card. People need to tune in. If you're a boxing fan, you need to be up on fighters from all over the globe. And you know, UK fighters is bringing it every single time. They're going to work hard. They're going to throw shots. And more than likely, if it's a UK fight, more than likely it's going to be an action fight. So that's our coverage for the August 1st fight for Eddie Hearn. And should be a good one. It should be a good one. Hopefully VP Shane to get me some betting lines so I can send some money out there to him so we can make that happen.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a good one. So we're going to do another video to cover the August 7th card for Eddie Hearn. And VP Shane, you got any final words? On behalf of G5Jefftv and VP Shane, we are out.